Real Madrid, if it couldn't get any worse, we have hit even worse than rock bottom in our lifetime as Real Madrid fans. Myself and Will today, we are going to absolutely speak the utmost facts you've ever seen in your lifetime on this Galacticos podcast. There are so many things that we need to discuss. And after that El Clásico, you know what? I am deeply saddened by the fact that Real Madrid have hit this state in the first place. We've gone 2 seasons back to back, and now it's literally looking at the third season and saying, is it going to happen again? Hopefully not. Let's hopefully not go trophyless for a third season in a row. This is all literally next season. It's all next series, people. As soon as the summer hits, we need to see movement. We need to see a next level of Real Madrid where we want to compete for that La Liga trophy. And today on Galacticos Podcast, we're going to talk about it all. But Will, tell me, bro, look, I'm sad, mate. I'm sure you are at the moment as well. I don't think we are in the best of moods. Barcelona clinching La Liga right in front of our faces. Look, we can only congratulate them. We can only say, well done, Barcelona. You done your duty this season. That's what you wanted to do. You won La Liga. You won the Super Cup. And Real Madrid won absolutely nothing yet again. But thoughts and feelings before we get into the podcast, mate.
Yeah, I'm not congratulating them. They did their job, but I don't have respect like that. I'm not a good sportsmanship kind of guy, right? Like the way that you feel about Atleti is like that's how I feel about Barca. Like
cool.
for me, they are absolute scum. But since Hansi Flick has been there, phenomenal, right? You got to give this guy a lot of credit. On top of that, his father died the morning of the game.
How he can stand on the touchline is crazy.
And instead of him going to be with his family, right, he chose to coach this match. And you saw that those players, the performance that they put in from the minute the whistle was blown, right? You can tell they were already motivated because they already had many factors to consider going into this match. For example, right, beating us would put them on course for 100 points. Beating us would give them that La Liga trophy in front of their home fans. And now you add in that their manager, right, what he's going through, right? There was no way that they were going to lose that game after that news came out. And you could tell which team wanted it more, right? While our players were walking, were looking pathetic on the pitch, they were giving 100%. And if it was not for Thibaut Courtois, it would have been worse.
Embarrassing.
It would have been worse. That 2-0, we're very lucky that was the final scoreline because that's not how the match played out, Dave, at all.
Yeah.
But we are in the middle of a crisis. And as far as I'm concerned, the summer window is already here. Because, yes, we still have, a couple La Liga matches left. They mean nothing, right? So it is what it is, bro. We are just trash, and we don't deserve to win any trophies, and Barcelona do. So fair enough.
Absolutely. Well, you know what? As we said, and as I said, pretty much congratulations Barcelona for winning La Liga. But now let's get into serious talk here. Real Madrid. What can Real Madrid do to steer the ship into another direction, a direction where we're going to win a trophy next season? This is the main thing that we want to talk about. And you see, I'm taking a serious tone because I'm not playing around here. Yeah, I'm not playing around. Sorry. Neither myself or Will or any of the other Madrid fans are playing around here. They need to see trophies. We need to see trophies. You out there need to see trophies next season. Otherwise, it's just completely gone. Like Real Madrid as an institution are gone. If we don't see a trophy next year, I don't know where it's going to go from there, unfortunately. But Jose Mourinho pretty much confirmed as Real Madrid manager. That's what we've been hearing across social media. This guy trying to step into the managerial role to control, first of all, the locker room. That's the main thing that he wants to control. But he wants it under 2 conditions, and this is blatantly obvious. He wants to have full control, essentially, over any player that he wants to bring in, and also no one can interfere with his doings as Real Madrid manager. No one. That's pretty much solid. Neither Perez, no one. No one can say to him anything that he wants to do with his team. If he wants to drop a player, that he said this also before, he can drop a player. If Mbappe's not going to play for 5 games, he can have the right to do that. And that's the main thing that he needs to get across, because if he doesn't get granted this whole complete authority and autonomy over Real Madrid, things could go south quickly, people. We could see another situation where the players turn on the manager. I don't think they would naturally turn on Jose Mourinho because obviously of his stature. But unfortunately, any manager can get it with these players in the locker room. And we do have big egos. We know that. Maybe more so after Mbappe came in, because as you know, Ancelotti clearly said the Real Madrid locker room didn't have any egos. But the situation is now they suddenly have egos. Well, why is that? Answer yourself that question, because unfortunately, we are in this position and Jose Mourinho needs full autonomy, Will. He needs it. Otherwise, he cannot implement what he wants to do to win Real Madrid that La Liga title. I'm not talking about Champions League here. No Real Madrid fan is speaking about Champions League next season. If Real Madrid fans speak about Champions League, you are clearly deluded, because unfortunately, there are teams in Europe that are better than us. And we need to have a major overhaul first. We need to rebuild this team properly. With Nico Paz coming back, Endrick coming back, Will, and all these other players we're talking about potentially dropping into the squad, then Mourinho needs that. I'm sure he does, because what's your thoughts on Mourinho and what he said in terms of two conditions? He's pretty much confirmed as manager. So
yeah. I agree with both points, because I think Mourinho can do something, right? I think we can have a successful season if he comes in, but he needs the authority to drop players if they're not following instructions. He needs the authority to be able to do whatever he wants with the squad, right? He doesn't need Florentino Perez or Jose Angel Sanchez, giving their opinions on what players should be out there and why this guy didn't get this amount of minutes, etc. He needs to be able to do his thing. We've tried to do it these players' way, right? We've tried to do the whole, player power, make sure that Vinny's happy, and Mbappe's happy, and all these guys are comfortable. We've tried it their way. And what that has given us is 2 seasons of failure. So now during this 3rd season, we got to do something very different. And a manager like Jose is going to come in. He's going to be very confrontational. He's going to be calling you out if you're not following instructions, right? And he's not going to just take BS. This is why Jose is the best manager for this current crop of Madrid players, because they need someone that's going to make them feel uncomfortable, because then maybe they'll wake up. In terms of summer signings, Nico Paz, he's coming back. That's been confirmed. Endrick, he's coming back as well from loan. Those are the only 2 attacking signings that I'm trying to see. Unless one of Mbappe or Vinny goes, I don't think we need to really be putting that much money.
Rodrigo will be there also, because when he returns from injury, I think it's 2027. I think
January, Rodrigo will come back. Yeah. Franco needs to go. But I'm talking about in terms of just signings, Nico Paz and Endrick, that's good enough for the attack. We need to heavily focus on that defense. The back line needs major investment. And then we also need a holding midfielder. That is the priority here. So
people apparently the reports are saying that the players may turn on Valverde. Who knows? That's what the reports are saying. I'm not sure it's fully concrete that, but obviously
I don't think Valverde is going to go anywhere. I'd be shocked, if they sell Valverde. I don't see it. Valverde is very important for us. Valverde has been here for years, right?
He's not a great leader though on the pitch. So I got to be honest, not.
But the thing is, though,
or obviously Jude is the leader on the pitch. I'm going to say it right now. I think Jude Bellingham is the best candidate for captainship on that pitch.
But to be fair though, up until this Tchouaméni situation, I don't really ever remember people calling out Valverde for his leadership. Right? Now,
he's not the most vocal. He's not the most
it's
charismatic guy in the pitch, is he?
But there's some people that lead through action. You don't necessarily always have to be like the loud guy getting in people's faces. But, sometimes you lead by example, right? I still don't think Valverde should be sold. I still think he's very important for us. But obviously, the dressing room is fractured. So let's see, what Jose can do when he comes in. And the reason that I'm very excited for his arrival is because I don't think he will take the job without some assurances. Yeah. I don't think he'll just take any conditions that Perez gives him. So, look, Jose, hopefully he comes in and he can restore order and balance, because, next season is crucial. We need 2 trophies, and La Liga is the main one that I want. You cannot have Barcelona three-peat the domestics. It's crazy. UCL would be nice, of course. That's the best competition. But I think we got to fix what's going on at home first, So That's how I
Yeah.
view it, brother.
I think obviously we've already been vocal about Mourinho and why do you think he obviously fits in the mold of Real Madrid? Not just because I think the players will respect him, but in the fact that tactically he's set up to deal with a lot of these Spanish teams very easily. I think personally, the matches that we saw lose this season, I don't think Mourinho would lose. I think he would tactically set up to try and get a result regardless of the situation at certain points in the match. And he does play decent attacking football. Obviously, he's very defensively great also as a manager. So I think Real Madrid will be harder to beat under Mourinho, and they would have a certain fluidity up front if he can try and get Mbappe and Vini on side. And Endrick is a very charismatic player on the pitch. We know how direct he is when he tries to shoot. Nico Pass also, we've seen him with Como and the Fabregas. These kind of players, they are great additions to the club. Obviously, even though Endrick's alone, is a great addition to come back to the club. And Nico Pass the same. Yes, like you said, defensive positions is number one. A lot of them are going to be going, or a lot of them don't fit the mold. I'm sorry, Carreras, best bench player, I think, as best as he can, maybe.
I don't
see Carreras as a long-term left back for Real Madrid. He hasn't got the left back qualities of a fit Ferland Mendy. He doesn't have those qualities.
I agree.
I'm sorry. Like when Ferland Mendy was at his absolute peak, he was one of the best left backs in the world. Like you cannot replace that. You cannot replace Carvajal as a right back. In terms of defensively, yes, I mean Trent is very, very good in attacking wise as well. But maybe that's why we need Valverde also in the midfield to cover those areas. Like Trent is decent and he's been getting better decently defending wise in terms of Real Madrid and how he's adapting. So Trent is great, but the situation is the two centre backs, that Rudiger and the Militao combination, supposed to be Militao. Militao is not going to be here. I'm sorry, he needs to go this summer. He needs to go. And look, with the whole news, obviously, about Asensio circulating as well, who knows about him? Look, we need to recruit at least two solid centre-backs or one centre-back at least to factor into the occasion that we are not good enough in that area, and also a midfielder that can actually progress the ball up forward. I don't want to see a midfielders in our team just playing in the sideways motion for 10 million years. I can't stand it. We need somebody who's going to cut through the midfield. We need someone who's going to cut through and make great passes, maybe over top pass to Mbappe onto a great run from Mbappe.
I mean, like, let's just be honest. We need that Pedri profile, right? Like, again, and the Pedri profile is the Cruz profile, right? Yeah. Somebody that will sit in deep areas and somebody that can slow the game down, right? You see every match where we get pressed, the midfield cannot control a game because you have too many similar profiles, right? Jude Bellingham, Tchouaméni, right? Valverde. These are all physical first.
Camavinga as well, same.
But Camavinga is good on the ball. That's the thing.
Yeah, but Camavinga is good on the ball, but he's also
he's progressed massively, Dave. I don't understand how Camavinga.
Well, he needs to go. He needs to go. I'm sorry.
He's not progressed. Like, and thing is, Camavinga's good on the ball. I think Camavinga is one of the best ball progressors that we have in terms of when he's carrying the ball, bro. He's gliding.
Yeah.
But like his confidence is gone. He's mistake prone, right? And I just feel like maybe it is time for him to go. So I think, right, who's idealistic for me? I don't know, how much they're going to ask for it. But I want Adam Wharton. Yeah. Adam Wharton, I think the Cruz profile to a T. Very good on the ball. Yeah. Sits deep. Passing range is phenomenal.
Passes,
checks that box perfectly. You can also maybe bring up a guy like an Angelo Stiller, right, at Stuttgart. We haven't been linked to him for some time now. Yeah. Maybe a Sandro Tonali. Newcastle are going to finish bottom half of the table. He's a very good player. Maybe he's thinking, what the hell am I still doing here? Let me force a move. I think, very defensive-minded, good on the ball, good passing range. There's options out there. So you have to.
And it doesn't need to be the most flashy player. It doesn't need to be the most flashy player. He needs to be a solid work player, a person who's going to get into the match and work for the team, not work for themselves or trying to get the brownie points in terms of, okay, cool, this match I'm going to play well, so I get these accolades. No, you're working towards a team winning that game. That's the whole situation. So like the players, like you mentioned, Adam Morton, very, very good. And I really rate him highly. Such a great player on the ball. So, look, these are the options, but it depends on who Real Madrid go for. And it's up to Perez now. And that's leading on to my next thing. It's all about Real Madrid and what they can do, because unfortunately, it's all stemming from the presidency. It's the presidency who brought Kylian Mbappe to the team. It's the presidency who doesn't want to get involved when everything is going really out of his hands and just literally ducking it, completely ducking it, not even turning up to the El Clasico to see Real Madrid stink it out. Only going down to the dressing room after you lost a Champions League match and maybe giving it the big mouth there. But what about the rest of the season? What about the season during it, when you're supposed to be taking charge, when you don't have a vocal manager like Arbeloa who can really shout to these players? Xabi Alonso would do it, but we got rid of him, you know? And I've seen a lot of videos online circulating, and that it's become very, very prominent now online. It's like, if Xabi Alonso were to stay, would have things been different? I don't think so. I think the players would have outed him again. It just either one way or the other. There's no difference between Xabi Alonso staying. Yes, he had a decent record, I think, as Real Madrid manager. But the situation is that after that final, the players didn't want him there. It was building up for weeks until that final as well, until that Super Cup final, where the players didn't want him there. They were completely in charge. And that's where Xabi Alonso broke down. That's where him as a manager, he broke down. And Perez has to take full responsibility for the last 2 seasons, winter transfer windows, where Real Madrid are not notoriously in the strongest position in winter to really just go and get players. But we were crying out for defenders last year when Militao got injured. We were crying out for defenders this year as well. We were crying out for players that can fill in roles this year. And maybe we could have won something, but unfortunately, no. Like, Will, man, where does the blame lie, man, these last few seasons?
Perez.
Where does the blame? It's Perez, isn't it?
Perez, fully. He's the ultimate decision maker, right? We talk about dictator Mbappe, etc. Bro, there's nobody higher than Florentino Perez. There's nobody that tells him what to do, right? What Perez wants to happen, usually it gets done, right? Perez is the responsible for this squad building. Perez is responsible for the players lacking discipline. Perez is responsible for, the players not respecting these new managers, right? For feeling like or thinking that they can do whatever the hell they want, right? This is all Florentino Perez, right? So, the same way that we give him a lot of credit when it comes to the Champions Leagues and, for putting Real Madrid like in a position where we're known globally as the greatest and biggest club of all time and things like that. The same way that he gets praise is the same way that he has to hold smoke when things aren't going well. And Absolutely. I think for Florentino Perez, right, he's the one that, has built this squad poorly, right? Not getting a midfielder the last 2 summers, letting Luka Modric leave for zero reason, right? To not bring anybody in, right? How many years did we need a fullback, right? We had freaking Lucas Vasquez running at right back under, if Carvajal went down, right? Why, right? How long did it take us to really address the back line? Yeah, we got Housen last summer, but before that, who was the signing before that? Was it Militao in 2019 or something, bro?
It's crazy, isn't it?
It's crazy. So, look, Perez, I still think he's a phenomenal president. I still think he's gonna, be on the Mount Rushmore for, like Real Madrid when it's all said and done. But at the same time, right, the guy is not perfect. And if he wants his last years left, because he's our president until 2029, right? So he got about, I'd say, 3 more years, essentially. If he wants his presidency to end like this, right, watching Barcelona dominate us, watching Real Madrid go into chaos, disarray, no trophies. If this is how he wants to be remembered, then fair enough, right? Just keep letting the players do whatever they want, right? Keep backing them. Don't back the managers. And, just leave in 3 years. And when people think of you in a negative light, then that's on you. But Florentino Perez is the biggest reason why we are in this situation, bro. 100%.
Yeah, he is, absolutely. And I 100% agree with you. I think his decision-making has lacked over certain crucial points where we're saying, we need this here, we need this there. Yeah. Why aren't you addressing the problem? And also crucial points this season where the team needs someone to vocalize some kind of message towards them, and it's not being done. It should have been done by Florentino. It can't be done by the manager because Arbeloa's not there, man. This guy's holding the towels. He's holding the shoes for the players. He's not out there literally vocalizing everything. So unfortunately, this is the occasion. And look, just the last thing, just to end before we cut off this episode, I think Real Madrid now, it's all about next season preparation. There's nothing in this La Liga fighting for. I heard Arbeloa come out saying we're going to fight for the badge. How are you fighting for the badge? We haven't fought for the badge for the last 2 years. Why is the point of even trying to do anything now in this season? We're closer to Villarreal than we are to Barcelona. This is how bad Real Madrid have been this season in La Liga. So unfortunately, yeah, we end on that note, guys. But look, Galacticos Podcast will always run Monday and Thursday, as you know. Next episode will be on Will's channel, probably on Friday, I'm guessing, because obviously Real Madrid play on Thursday against Real Oviedo. Do we even want to watch that match? Probably not.
Really.
Will we watch that match? Yes, because we support the team regardless. And that's the whole situation. Make sure you check out everything going on Will's channel. Obviously, watch along for that. Match reactions, obviously, on both of ours. And yeah, Will, any final thoughts before we round up this sad episode of the Galacticos podcast?
Yeah, we got a generational window, Dave. Generational window is needed, brother.
And a generational manager. That's it. Generational manager, generational window, mate. And yeah, hopefully we won't end up on a third season on Netflix come next season. Hopefully, guys. But guys, yeah, this is crazy, man. Peace out, people. This has been the Galacticos podcast. Make sure you subscribe to Will on Football Carnage. Make sure you subscribe to myself, and we'll see you next time for another episode of the Galacticos podcast. Take it, people.